So today I'm talking about 5 side hustles that you can start today. Some you can start with little money, some you can start with no money, and then some you can do remote. So I'm just going over the 5 of my favorite ones. These are ones that I've tried and I would definitely recommend to others. First one that I think has been the most lucrative for me is Airbnb. So the way that works is if you have an apartment or a home that you are renting or leasing, you can rent out the rooms or you can rent out the entire space. Definitely recommend this for like college students or anyone who currently cannot pay their rent. Clearly right now we're at a state of emergency. A lot of people are losing their jobs and they cannot afford their mortgages. And I say get out now while you can. Airbnb it out and go rent an apartment. You can make upward. When I was doing it, I was renting out my apartment, and now this, I will say, this was before apartments got a little more hip to Airbnb. So before, they never would put like the subleasing clauses in their lease agreements, so you couldn't really get in trouble for it. Now if they found out you were doing it, they could tell you to stop doing it, but you couldn't get like evicted for it. So now some apartments are a little more hip about that, so they are putting that into their lease agreement. So definitely, for legal reasons, you definitely want to check your lease agreement and see if you cannot sublease it, because I would not recommend doing Airbnb in an apartment that you're renting if it's against that, because you don't want them to evict you, sue you, or anything like that. So definitely you want to check that. But if you're renting from someone like an individual person, property owner, they typically do not have that in their in their lease agreements. But I definitely would suggest checking it out. But also, if you just know anyone in your family or friends, family friends who has a property that they're not using, definitely consider asking them to let you Airbnb it out and kind of give them some money on the back end. Like I said, when I was doing it, I was making upwards from $170 a night to sometimes $250 a night. So depending on if it was a holiday weekend or anything was going on, I would obviously bump up my prices and make more money like that. Also, one time over the summer, I had a family stay for like 2 weeks and they wanted someone to come in and clean every week. So I got paid more money because they wanted me to have someone come to clean. So there's also like little add-on services that you can provide through, some of them you can provide through Airbnb, and some of them you have to just negotiate with whoever's going to be staying there. I would definitely suggest making your price competitive. You don't want it too cheap, because what happens when it's too cheap is you get a lot of people who are just loitering around the city, or people who are just want to have a party house and they just totally trash your place, or do things that can get you in trouble. So definitely you want to price it competitively. So right now people are losing their homes, people are traveling for work, like doctors and nurses. So there's actually a demand for Airbnb right now, properties. So definitely I would say, if you're in a position where you can't pay your mortgage, I would say Airbnb the entire thing out, or Airbnb it out by the room. Typically when you Airbnb out the entire property, you can make more money like that. But if you can't, obviously if that's not a demand, then you want to just rent it out as you can. Sorry, someone was driving by me. So rent it out as you can. So if you can just do the rooms, And sometimes you can make more money renting out the rooms opposed to renting out the entire property. So it really depends on the location and your demand. But when I did it, I posted my apartment, and within a week I had it rented out, and I was making a lot of money. I think overall I was able to make like $20,000 within like 2 or 3 months doing it. The only reason I stopped doing it is because they added that clause to the lease agreement, and I didn't want to get evicted. So I had to like cancel out that hustle. But I definitely like could have kept it going. Like I could have found a property that didn't have that clause in the lease agreement, but I just moved on to some other things. And also Airbnb can be a little time consuming. So it takes a while, I would say, for you to get your system together. So you have to get your cleaning people, you have to get your prices, you have to get a lot of like little things together. You have to buy if you're getting a place just for Airbnb, then you have to furnish it, you have to provide utensils. So it just takes time to accumulate all those things. And I would say up front, if you're providing a nice location, so like there's levels to Airbnb, right? So you could either be like the Motel 6 kind of Airbnb that provides the bare essentials, or you definitely could be like the Hilton Airbnb that provides like the snacks and the, you know, the full refrigerator and, you know, all the other amenities that some of the, like the bigger hotels you know, provide, and then all, like towels and things like that, and then you can charge more like that. So like for mine, I had it fully furnished. I had utensils, I had 2 queen beds, I had the sheets, the towels, of course, all those different things, full kitchen supplies. I would like put snacks in the room, different things like that. So I was able to price it competitively because of that. So I would definitely look into the type that you want to get, because there's definitely Airbnbs that are like Motel 6 status and they're really cheap. But then you're dealing with a different demographic of customer. So when I first started off doing Airbnb, I priced it low just to get it rented out, and then I ended up getting someone in there who was like, I don't know if he was doing drugs, I don't know what it was, but there was something that looked like drugs in there, and I had to clean it up. Also, he broke a lamp. Like, there was just so much crap. The good thing about Airbnb is they are really good at compensating you. So they have a $1 million insurance policy on all the units. So, or any property that you post on the website. So every time I ever had an issue like that, they always paid it out right away. Like, I got one guy put a hole in the wall, I had to fix that. They paid that out. The lamp that got broken, they paid that out. If anything was ever stolen, they would pay that out. So it's, like I said, it's just a little time consuming because you always have to check the property to see if anything was damaged, so you can submit the report as soon as possible so you can get paid in a timely manner. So I definitely would say you want to do a minimum of 2 nights. So I learned my lesson a lot with Airbnb, and I learned to do a minimum of a 2-night stay, because that just gives you more time to put things together and you're not rushing back and forth every day to clean. And then also that reduces your cleaning costs. So there's different strategies you can kind of work Airbnb to reduce the cost of different things, like, you know, like cleaning, supplies, or just any other thing like this. There's different ways to maneuver it where you can it can be also a little less hands-on. Like, I had a keyless entry, so I didn't have to like go there and open the door every time someone came. So there's just a lot of little things you could do, and if you guys are interested, I can do an entire video about Airbnb and the lessons that I've learned, the money that I made, areas to look, areas of opportunity for locations, a whole bunch of. So Airbnb is like that's a whole ball game right there, but you make a lot of money. I would say that side hustle is definitely, if you already have a place that you have to able to rent, that could be no startup. If you're in your own apartment, it could be little to no startup. But if you want to just go out and get an apartment right now and do it, you're talking about probably like a $3,000 startup cost. But you definitely make it back within a month, I would say. Number 2 is going to be the Turo app. So that app works similar to an Airbnb. If you have a car or you have an extra car, you can post on the Turo app and you can actually rent your car out by the day. And that is actually in demand right now. You have to think there are a lot of medical professionals that are traveling all over the world to work. So they're not traveling with their cars, they're getting rented cars. And some of them are getting compensated to rent those cars out. They're renting Airbnbs, they're, you know, all kind of, it's so many businesses that are just in a need right now because of what's going on. So the car rental, like, those are good. So like I said, if you had an extra car, you can buy a car. I think for most of the a car rental platforms, you have to have like a minimum of like a 2006 on there. So I mean, you're talking about a car that would probably cost you $2,000. So that one's like not a free startup, clearly. But if you have your own car, you could put your own car on there. I mean, if right now people aren't working, people aren't going anywhere, you're not driving anywhere, why not make some extra money and put your car on the Turo app? And it's a pretty easy setup from what I've been told and what I've experienced myself from other people. I know people who have a lot more cars on there than I, have tested out. But it's definitely a good money maker, and you can set the rate as far as how much you want to charge for your car. I see cars like Honda Civics on there renting for like $30 a day, and then I see other cars renting on there for like $100 a day. So it also depends on the demand in your area. So like Los Angeles area, there's a lot of cars, so clearly there's going to be some cheaper ones and some more expensive ones. But if your area doesn't have a lot of cars on Turo, then you can charge more and make more money. So that's a solid one. The third one is going to be DoorDash. I'm going to say DoorDash because it's less interaction with people. It's literally just a pick up and a drop off kind of thing. People are, from what I hear, are tipping good right now for DoorDash. They have a lot of incentives to do DoorDash. They're making more money than usual doing DoorDash. You can start with no money down. It's a quick, easy setup. You pretty much just have to have a smartphone and a car, and you can do it. So I definitely would say DoorDash is another good side hustle right now. I would say a fourth side hustle. I'm like getting lost. What was my fourth side hustle that I like a lot? Right? Oh, stock trading, obviously. So right now you can stock trade for a couple of dollars. Like you could throw $20 in there, $10 in there, and make some money. Definitely there's a learning curve. You need to teach yourself how to do it, educate yourself, watch videos, read books, but there's little to no startup costs to do that. Definitely right now. Number 5 is, I would say, any of the car driving apps like Uber, Lyft. There's still money to be made with that stuff. I mean, I know we're trying to keep our social distancing going on right now, but there's still there's Instacart. All those companies are still good side hustles for you, like Instacart, DoorDash, and Uber's still a good one too, so depending on the area, those are still good ones. I know a lot of cities are opening back up, so there's going to be more of a demand for those things. There's got to think about how many people lost their jobs, lost their cars, lost everything. They had to get to work still. So when things open back up, they're going to be Ubering a lot. That's going to be a demand. So why not get set up? I think the setup takes about a week or two. But those are things that I think are really good. And those are 5 solid hustles. I mean, obviously another free one would be, you could do it, and this is just a bonus, I guess. You could do a YouTube channel. I just started this YouTube channel, just for some fun, and also just to kind of give some more education on the things that I'm doing, how I'm making money. And obviously I hope that it becomes a stream of income for me. But this is little to no setup. If you have a smartphone, you can just start a channel and start recording. You don't really even have to be a good editor. I mean, take some good thumbnails, create some content, and there you have it. Obviously social media influencing is always a good way to make money. I've made a lot of money doing social media influencer marketing for years now. I've created several pages, built them up, and sold them. That's a good little hustle too, to build a page up in a particular niche or niche, for a niche audience, and then sell it to that industry. That's good money in that. Or just building a lifestyle page up and then getting sponsorships. I mean, I don't really know how sponsorships are working right now with the state of things. I'm assuming a lot of marketing teams are not even marketing as much.